kicking mad flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max brand new flavor in your ear.
Right now we have a special guest.
All right.
Yes. And his name is Lightworker Wayne, and he is a motivational speaker, a poet. This is my so listen, he gonna tell y'all who he is, but this is my definition of who Lightworker Wayne is. Okay, he is a motivational speaker, a poet, a street activist, a philanthropist. Like, I see him doing so many great things in the community. So that's just my definition of how I look at him. He's a great soul. He has a great energy. When I see him with his daughter, I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to see that as much. Not trying to put nothing in the limelight, but you just don't get to see that as much. And so I'm like, wow, he's such a great being of light. You know what I'm saying? A beam and a beam. So that's my interpretation of who Lightworker Wayne is. But I'm gonna let Lightworker Wayne tell you who he is. So welcome, Lightworker Wayne.
Welcome.
Hey, let's get it.
Let's get it.
I had to start off with that. Thank you. Peace and blessings to you, Sunday Jones. Peace and blessings to everybody on here.
Thank you. Welcome.
Definitely, I appreciate the opportunity, and you have to pardon me. I just went through certified peer specialist training all this week, 8:30 to like 5:30. Then I had to drop my daughter off and shoot on the way back here. You know, I wanted to get something to eat because by the time I get done, probably all the busing spots going to be closed. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I had to wait on the Harold's. I had to wait on that Harold's chicken and waffles. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yes. You know, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a youth mentor. You know, the street activist. I'm still getting accustomed to that. And that's because of my New Era Atlanta ties. Shouts out to New Era Atlanta.
Yes.
Hey, we are the people. I love being black. Hey, let's get it.
Like that.
So you know, it's a wonderful Friday. You know,
Yes.
fall is right around the corner. My favorite.
Thank you
season.
for around the corner and not for right now. Because I don't know it's not summer no more.
We
It's
said
fall.
the preview.
Hey, I really had to look up that today because it already kind of feels like fall, you know what I mean? It's already the fall, the autumn vibes. I see some of the trees kind of changing a little bit, you know?
Maybe early morning. That's about it. That's about it.
Yeah.
Late nights, early morning.
I don't know about late nights, but early mornings. I get y'all the early mornings. Wait, tell us you also have a podcast.
Yes.
What's a podcast, y'all?
That's something new.
Yeah, that's what I made that up.
Trademark it.
Yeah.
Well, I will assume a podcast is for, you know, sisters who like to demonstrate their pole skills.
Okay. We're talking about a podcast, a motivational shit, right?
Yes. So yes, I do have a podcast. Me and my homie director Huey G. Shouts out to Yale Entertainment, Dial Yale. So we have a podcast called Motivational Shit Podcast because we highlight the motivational shit that each and every one of us is doing in our everyday lives.
Awesome.
Yes.
We are all motivational speakers. We are all motivational beings.
Yeah, we need that.
And it's a dope podcast. He had me on there. I had my interview a few weeks ago. So make sure y'all tune in. You know.
Oh,
yes. So it was a dope vibe, and I had an amazing time. So make sure y'all tap in.
What part did we have you rolling on?
When Sunday she gave her top female hits, you know, the little jabs about the female MCs.
I was not trying to
it wasn't you. It was just the little jokes around it.
I was trying to help y'all out with the Little Kim lyrics for Crushing.
Yo, like that's like my favorite bar from Kim. That's like my favorite bar from Kim. Like, yo, that bar is.
He's like, I love that bar. I don't know why I can't think of it right now. It's like texting it to y'all like. shorty, won't you go get the bag or the
see-through.
see-through? I'll be undressed in the bra or see-through. I count the jewels, thinking I'm a cheat you. The only one thing I wanna do is reach you. Keep your song sex. I got my own baguette.
Hey.
I'm doing things that you won't forget.
Hey.
Little Kim the Queen Bee, so you best take it. Shall I proceed?
Yes, indeed. Yo, you killed that.
With the accent.
Yo, you killed that straight New York.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take no jabs, y'all. I just wanted to highlight how I couldn't really put a lot of females in my top 5. It's top 6 on their show. I couldn't really put a lot of top 6 on my top 6 because a lot of females in my top 6 because they're not really having any substance right now. And to be in my top 6,
I can relate.
you gotta have some substance.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you're
That
not in
was
the
you.
top 20.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I like you,
Right.
but you're not in my top because you have no substance, and it's all about sex and all of that. And not that that's not relevant because everybody likes sex. You know what I'm saying? But it's little girls out here watching,
Right.
and so we have to remind them, or you know what I'm saying, make them see that we have some substance in us too.
Absolutely.
And it's not all about wet pussies and all of these kind of things. It's also about what's going on in my mental, what I'm going through today. How do I get through that and overcome that?
Absolutely.
So it's no shots. It's just, you know what I'm saying, let's add a little substance.
Absolutely.
And then
I
maybe
agree.
get in the top
It's
6.
accountability.
You might be in top 20, but you ain't in the top 6.
Right. It's accountability.
Yeah. Anyway, not get off that soapbox. Wayne, what you got going on right now?
Hey, the accountability part is powerful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's something that our community as a whole, you know, we just need to embrace that word. You know, especially even in the mental health field.
Yes.
I know sometimes, you know, our people kind of still shy away from it, but there's nothing wrong with you seeing a therapist, you know, nothing wrong with you having your kids have another male mentor, nothing wrong with you having a CPS certified peer specialist is right there, someone who went through that same experience
That's right.
that can help guide you through the process. Like, yo, we all need to talk.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know, like one of the biggest things in our community is like with the stress and the daily dealings of just being us, melanated beings, you know, we just keep all that balled in.
Yeah.
And that's all that energy balled in, and that energy could store into trauma.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Instead of us expressing it, poetry.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Write it down.
Poetry, journaling,
Yes.
Yes.
meditating, exercising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, even releasing it, you know, during that last push when you about the climax.
Whatever works.
That's
My favorite.
Whatever works. It'll release a little stress. It'll release a little stress. Release a little stress. You know what I mean?
Release.
Release, you know.
I remember when me growing up, and I went through a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I never could really relate to a counselor because, and I didn't want to talk to them because they didn't understand me.
Right.
Because, like what Wayne just said, you need a peer counselor that has been through what you've been through,
Yes.
so that they can understand what you're going through and help you walk through it.
Yes.
Because if you ain't been through what I've been through, you can't tell me shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to hear what you gotta say.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we kind of, you know, kids will be more subject to listen to a person that's been through something similar of what they've been through, so they can feel like, oh, you can relate. I can
Right.
relate to you.
I can listen to
If I
you.
can't relate to you, I don't really want to hear what you got to say. Cause what you got to say ain't hear no shit.
Absolutely.
So
Touch.
that's how you feel as a kid.
Mhm.
And so then you grow up kind of feeling like, I don't want to go see a therapist because they can't relate. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't know that they can relate because you
Right.
can't even exhaust the option because you already have in your mind that they can't relate.
Right.
Or you can't identify that you
Yeah.
have a problem, because a lot of people refuse therapy because they don't think that they really have a situation
too.
going on internally.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have, like she said, accountability. You have to acknowledge that there is something off balance with you.
But that's a stigma in our community. You know, it's looked at as a weakness to go and get mental health treatment. You know, it's always like pushed off, like, oh, you're being weak. Oh, you know, especially for men.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, definitely. It is, you know. And like, you know, especially like we have to realize that's, you know, us tapping into our feelings, expressing that is fine. Nothing's wrong with that. You know, it's nothing wrong with even being angry. It's just when it turns to aggressiveness.
Yeah.
When you acting it out, that's the problem.
Right.
It's okay to be masculine, but it's that aggressive.
You gotta know how to express all of your emotions, but in the right way and at the right time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Look, I don't want to say the right time because your emotions come when they come, but we do have to know how to control our emotions to a point that they don't affect other people in a negative undertone, in a negative way.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And two, I want to break down the therapy game, you know, for our people that's here. You know, like, you have different options now. You have, you on the clinical side, you have the therapist that you could go and talk to. And you have to find what therapist works with you. Don't just take the first one that comes. Feel free to explore your options, right? And then, you know, with that therapist, they normally not allowing you to release and coach you through CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, right? And that's with you using your mind to change what you want to change, using coping skills, managing, right? Then you have, you know, for people that's like, yo, you can't tell me nothing because you ain't experienced it. That's where the certified peer support comes in, you know, and that's still kind of like a new field that's still getting known. But, you know, Georgia was one of the first places to create the certified peer support program. And it's under DBHD, and it's been recognized. So a lot of these mental health agencies, they gotta have a certified peer support, and that's just somebody with the lived experiences.
Okay.
You know, the world is understanding, hey, the experience is more valuable.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, somebody with that lived experience that can then go to someone else. You know, I'm just gonna use examples. Someone who was doing cocaine. You know, sometimes they may need someone who did cocaine and got off that.
Yeah, they need to see what it looks like on the other side.
Exactly. And that's where we, you know, CPS, this is where we start, you know, we tell our illness stories, which is basically just the struggle when we dealt with the darkness, when we dealt with the addiction or whatever that we dealt with, or the mental health. Then we give our recovery story, how we progress, how we rose up above that, what motivated us, what determination, what helped us elevate.
Yeah.
You know, so it's different options that we could go to now as a community. You can find whatever works for you. You know, and even, you know, just on the spiritual side, you got spiritual healers that you could go to. You know, like a clinical therapist with a master's degree, yes, you could talk to another therapist, but they reach a point where the other therapist can't really do shit for her or him because they already know the coping skills. So they may need a shift and go towards a spiritual healer then.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, just to break it down and make everything simple, seek out therapy and find out who and what works with you. You have the apps, the BetterHelp, you know, and you have a lot of mental health agencies around Georgia that, you know, if you have a state insurance, is paid by that, and you have even other ones that can take your private insurance. So it's a lot of available options. And two,
people in the community, you don't need no insurance. You could just go and talk to them.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You could just go. And you know, I always say this, you know, in regards to our community, mentorship is to me, one of the keys to the solution of our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a mentor, and to piggyback off of that, I had a mentor in high school, y'all. She worked for the EPA. No shade, but, you know, I was an at-risk teen. You know, I was in an underserved community. I, you know, came from that background with, you know, no lack of resources, lack of support. So I got pregnant in high school, my last year in high school. And, you know, that mentor, it's like she kind of like abandoned me after I got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
You know, sad to say though, but that's what happened to me in high school. So it was like, you know, by the grace of God, I'm still standing. It made me stronger though, you know, but you know, that's just one thing I wanted to shine a light on. It's like when you have a certified peer specialist. So she wasn't a peer of mine, like she wasn't from my background, so I don't think she could, you know, resonate and relate to me. So, you know, that's very important when you say that. And
you know, what if she would have just stayed?
Absolutely.
Right.
I would be probably a whole lot farther than where I'm at now.
You know, when I was small, yeah, I had my pops in my life, you know, and you know, I got love from my pops. My pops raised me, you know, but he was a retired Army, and he was a retired Trinidadian Army guy, you know, so he was like really hard on me. Sometimes I felt like I couldn't talk to him. And you know, I think back at what I'm doing now with the kids I'm into. It's like, man, what if I would have just had someone like me there,
Right.
you know, who I could have talked to.
Yeah.
You know, exactly, because you know I was dealing with self-esteem issues. You know, I was dealing with self-love. You know, I didn't really love myself as a kid. I was picked on and bullied a lot. You know, it was a rough transition to the A. You know what I mean? I got Joan on a hell of a lot because of my speech impediment and. You know, just me, you know, back then, it wasn't cool to be black and be in the anime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, now it's a total turn up.
Different way.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, if I just would have had someone like me, I would have been there.
All right, y'all. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
The Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. Go over to your Play Store and download Hits 92.3. Don't want to miss your favorite show? Click that tab in the top left-hand corner and set the alarm. You'll never miss another episode. Love all of the shows and can't decide? Then scroll down and rate Hits 92.3 and also leave a message for your favorite radio personality, letting them know what an amazing job they're doing. While you're at it, go over to our Instagram page and follow us on Hits 92.3.
And we're back with our interview with Lightworker Wayne. You listening to Hits 92.3 and Flavor in Your Ear Radio. And we're talking about mental health today.
I have a question. Just looking off of social media, I'm seeing a lot of videos about narcissists.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the correlation with that, you know, as far as like a mental thing. Is that it's so new. Well, to me, it's something new.
No accountability.
You know, yes, you know. So I'm trying to figure out what's the correlation with mental health with being a narcissist.
Well, for one thing, you know, I noticed that it's like the world learning a new word. you know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like real new, so I'm trying to figure it out.
But yeah. So you know, the correlation to the mental health. I mean. It could be a chemical imbalance, or I like to tend to more on the fact that, you know, a person not doing a certain type of work because they're just all self-centered and they don't know how to take accountability or are afraid of accountability. It could be a fear of being wrong deep down in there. It all depends on the person, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to probe what's in that person's thoughts, their upbringing, some of their ideas, some of their philosophies, their morals, just to kind of find out, well, what's the root of it. But it's definitely an exaggerated form of selfishness.
Okay.
You know, if that being the seed of it, though, you know what I'm saying? That being the seed that eventually grows into that.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff about these narcissists, and you know, watching Atlanta Housewives, and they're talking about it. And I'm like, where did this word come from? Like, you know, it's like a new thing, you know, that everybody's just going with. So I'm trying to do my little I guess, kind of just reading up on it and seeing what it's about.
And
No, I was just saying, like, just finding out what it's about, and if it's something that can be fixed, like, you know, something that you can heal from, or what is it? But like you said, it's just like an exaggerated form of selfishness.
Yeah. And yeah, it can definitely be addressed. You know, it's in the mind. That means the change is definitely possible, but at the same time, the mind, when it's used to operating on a certain program, it's deep down in the subconscious.
Yes.
You know, and it takes some heavy work to get rid of that program.
What are you talking about?
Man.
Crazy.
Narcissists don't want to do the work. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing. It's a power trip, major power trip.
It is. And you know, it's been a lot of clinical terms that's become normalized, that becomes normalized, you know, gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
You know, and
Algorithms, all kind of,
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
the same words.
Hey, look at that word. What the-
Because I was wondering, was I under a rock somewhere? I never heard of this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It just like sprouted out of nowhere, right? Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
did,
just
it did.
seeing the post, because, you know, and it is an algorithm. Now I know what algorithms is. Once you watch one video, you know, it starts kind of feeding you more.
Right.
So I keep seeing them on my timeline. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I'm not a narcissist, so stop sending me these things. I just want to know what it's about.
I've even heard that the selfie camera, like the design of the camera to do selfies was like the beginning of narcissism. I've heard somebody say that.
Oh wow.
Mm.
So take a selfie?
Yeah.
Because it's vain, maybe?
Yeah, because it's more, you know, it's a
You're
trend
into
now.
yourself.
Yeah,
You're very
it's a
much
trend
into
now.
yourself.
You know, before our cameras couldn't, you know, turn around and, you know, our cameras wouldn't show us our, you know, it will only take
Okay,
pictures
now that's gonna
outwards.
have me looking at taking a selfie some kind of way. Like, I ain't thought about it like I'm vain or, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
just want to take a picture. So I think that could be looked at two ways though, because that could be looked at like I love myself
Right.
and I want to see what I'm looking like right
That
now.
part.
I don't have a mirror, so let me just take a
Yeah.
selfie and I might want to, you know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
think that, I don't think we all vain or nothing.
Right.
You know, I think that could be looked at two ways.
Two ways. Yeah, that was an
You know?
interesting comment. I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's two ways.
I do like my selfies.
that is an interesting theory.
Yeah.
You know, but I, you know, I'm with you, Sunday Jones.
Yeah,
I'm with you,
yeah,
Sunday.
two ways.
Balance. You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
balance,
Yeah,
you
like
know.
nothing wrong with self-love.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
the
have
only time I'll
that.
take a selfie. I'm feeling myself.
Hey, do that now.
I think
Hey.
that's a very important part of mental health is that people have to learn how to love themselves.
First and
That
foremost.
is.
You know, that's a very important part of dealing with mental health. Let me say it that way.
Yeah.
It's learning how to love yourself, learning how to get in touch and in tune with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be dating yourself, you know, for a few weeks, you know, be so busy trying to dig on what somebody else got going on. Dig on you for a minute.
Yes, tap out.
Get to know what you like,
Yes.
because sometimes we don't even know what we like. We don't even know what we love. We don't know what we're interested in or what we're into because we're so busy trying to attach to someone else and what they have going on.
Absolutely.
But attach to you first.
Absolutely.
And then you can mesh those two things together and make sure that the person that you're trying to tap into, they tap into themselves. So that they can love, because if I can't love me, if I don't love me enough, how can I possibly love you right?
Absolutely.
There's no way.
Absolutely.
That's
I gotta love me properly before I can love you properly, or the love that I'm giving you ain't really even real.
In that order.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, in that order, you have to love yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's
Facts.
let me just say this. It's not I love myself. It's steps to that thing. You know what I'm saying? And you have to find out what those steps are for you.
Boundaries.
Whether that be writing notes on the mirror, because I do. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be meditating with yourself, praying with yourself, dating yourself. It's steps to that. You can't just be like,
Affirmations, yeah.
affirmations. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You can't just be like, I love myself. No, that's not how that
You gotta
works.
do the work.
You know what I'm saying? You have to do the work because it's daily work because we have mental. You know what I'm saying? And it's daily work because you're gonna go through things on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis. And sometimes you can retract and be like, I love myself yesterday, but today I'm going through some shit and I'm mad as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to work myself
Yeah.
back to that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I got in my bathroom, I got affirmations on my mirror. I love you. I love you back.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Just different little things to help me remember that you okay.
Yes.
You got this.
Remind
You know what I'm
you
saying?
are.
Remind me who I am and who I love. I love me and I love me back.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
remember that part.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love you too, Sunday.
I love you too. I love you back.
Doing the work, light worker Wayne. Where did you get your name from?
Yes.
It matches you perfectly. Though.
It does.
Thank you. It came to me. This was during my great transition, 2019, half of 2018, 2019, a little bit of 2020. Yeah, during this time, I was dealing with homelessness. I was living in a car during at this time. I just got a divorce. I was dealing with healing from that, and I was dealing with financial issues. Check was getting garnished.
Life was happening.
Yeah,
Life
life was
life.
happening, man. I don't mind going into it a little bit because I want people to know the struggle, though. You know, so during this time, luckily I was still able to work a job, but I was, you know, me being married for so long, then, you know, getting a divorce, I was battling with a lot of lust. You know, I was trying to stick anything that was out there. You know?
Being safe and protected.
Well, yeah. But like, you know, I was trying to do that. Still trying to heal. Trying to get the divorce finalized. Just a lot of moving, you know, during this time. I had to like bathe in gas stations. You know, a lot of nature walks during the weekend. God been talking to me, but I started like actually paying attention.
Started being obedient.
Yeah, I started being obedient. Yeah, I started seeing a lot of angel numbers. Started seeing.
They be coming, don't they?
Yeah,
Angel
yeah,
numbers at the right time.
yeah. I was dealing with, you know, a lot of things started lining up, and this is when I decided, well, I want to start doing videos. You know, I want to start doing videos, and one of my inspirations was Infinite Waters. Ralph Smart, you know, the peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again, that guy. But anyway, he was a big inspiration. I wanted to start making videos. So I was figuring out something to call myself. And then, you know, the name Lightworker popped up. I researched it. It's like, yo, okay, I feel like that's me. Yeah, you know, I mean. And it rhymed with my name. Well, you know, my real name Dwayne, but I just, you know,
Took the duh out.
yeah. I just took the duh out, you know, and my pop's name Wayne. So, you know, I want to honor my dad too. So I was just like, okay, well, yo, Lightworker Wayne, and it got a ring to it, you know.
It's perfect.
So yeah. So through the dark, I dealt with a lot of darkness. You know, I ain't gonna get into it all today, but I did. I mean, those was the roughest times ever in my existence. I dealt with suicidal ideations during that time. Dealt with a lot of spiritual attacks. Dealt with, I mean, that time it was either, you know, I could have killed myself or could have pushed through it, and I pushed through it.
That's right.
Amazing.
Push through.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
You're able to motivate others and talk people off that ledge.
Exactly.
And that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
You know, we're supposed to live through our experiences and share our experiences with other people so they can live through theirs.
Exactly.
You can't have a testimony without that test.
Absolutely.
That part.
Yeah.
It's
And that
no
was a big
purpose.
test.
And speaking of a test, you're gonna give us a little something today, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Give us a little something. Then we're gonna roll right into those in the streets.
All right. Hey. I want to speak to you right now, to everybody that's listening. You gotta understand, when life throws you challenges, you have the greatness in you. You have that spark. You have to ignite it. But one way to ignite it is using the power of determination. Because there's power in determination. There's power in determination. And there's power with the words you use to fill out your determination. Because your determination will dictate your destination. Hey, let's get it! Because your determination will give you the energy. But how do we be determined when we deal with the consequences of life? How do we be determined to push further when you're on that ledge? By going within yourself, by loving yourself, by acknowledging that God is present within you, and by tapping into that gaining that power. And then moving forward, positive thinking, affirming to yourself positive thoughts, dwelling in that pool of happiness, that pool of bliss, those good feelings. Because although you're dealing with that darkness, that time is only temporary. It's not permanent. So don't make a permanent decision. But understand and pray and have the faith to continue. Because there's power in determination. There's power in determination. And there's power in the words you use to feel actions and determination. Because your determination will dictate your destination. And that determination can be filled with words of affirmations, words of power, words of I am greatness, words of I am loving, words of I am chosen, words of I am powerful, words of I am legend. Take that energy and affirm your power and speak power to it and use that to further you. Use that to propel you to higher. Use that to motivate you to go further. Use that to elevate you. Because the power is within. You just have to acknowledge it. You just have to seize it and believe it. Go out there and achieve it. Hey, let's get it.
Ooh. Hey, let's get it. Dopeness.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
And if you was inspired, then subscribe to the vibe.
Yes, indeed. Make sure y'all follow my boy at Lightworker Wayne. Yes, indeed.
And what's the podcast again?
The Motivational Shit Podcast.
All right.
You can find it on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Just type in the motivational shit. And when you spell shit, you got to put an exclamation point instead of the I.
That was dope.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for that, Lightworker Wayne.
Very motivating.
Kicking my flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max brand new flavor